So for the past few months, I've owned a gaming PC. It is a budget build, but I never documented it on video or anything through my progress looking for it, or how I put some of it together and everything. So this video is going to be kind of a review on it. I'm also finally upgrading the graphics card on it. So let's get into it. So what I have for my gaming PC is a Dell Optiplex 7010. It's got 8 gigabytes of RAM with a Intel i5-3470 as the CPU processor I'm using. It currently has 2 graphics cards in it. One is a AMD HD Radeon 2400, and the other one that it actually came with, this little shit. It's another AMD Radeon. I'll put the model number up here. I can't off the top of my head, but this is good for what I use my gaming PC for, because I really don't play newer games. I really play more of older games from 2000, like Halo, a couple of mods here and there, Need for Speed, shit like that. And it handles all the games good, pretty well. However, I do now want to start playing games in VR and all this stuff. So I'm going to keep the same computer, but I'm going to give itself some pretty decent upgrades. So we're going to be upgrading it to a MSI Radeon 570 RX, which looking over it, I might have to swap out the power supply for something maybe modular, due to the fact that this thing uses its own, that needs external power from the PSU and not just from the PCIe slots. It probably won't have enough. But I ran into another issue with this graphics card, is the layout of the interior of the case is leaving it with no room for this. So we're gonna have to do a case mod. Now, the one thing protruding this insertion for this PCI card is the hard drive cage and mounting brackets. I'm going to have to remove them and find other places. I have 3 SATA hard drives in here, all at 500 gigabytes each. One I use for the main OS and the other I use for the videos I record in games. So we're gonna have to take it out. Another issue is the way the cage is bolted to this is it's in between the bottom of the case and the start of the bottom of the interior of the case. So it's, the screws are sandwiched between 2 bottoms here. So I gotta maybe do some drilling here. So let me show you guys the situation I'm with here. So here is what I'm dealing with. I took out the main graphics card that I use, because I'm going to be obviously using the first PCI lane for the maximum amount of bandwidth I can possibly get. I'm going to try to leave in my other graphics card. Now, again, the issue I'll have is the hard drive mounting cage here, but the screws are in between, so I'm going to have to take panels off and stuff, as well as I have a hard drive up here and a DVD-ROM drive, because I do play games from also early 2000s and probably from the late 90s as well, and they're all on DVD. So let's start taking these things apart and see how I can maneuver this. So Dell really doesn't like when you modify their cases, so they have these things that hold their hard drive case in that are called rivets, and the only way to get them out is to drill through them. So that's what I've been doing. So you might need a few different bits, but the way to only get this thing out is to drill. So you will need a power drill for this. There are several rivets here and then 2 on the side of the front case. I never recommend doing it with the with the components inside because of metal shavings, but I know what I'm doing, so I don't have to worry about cleanups or anything. front, and we're once set a hard drive cage. Now that we have it out, we can install the graphics card. So I'm sorry I didn't show you guys this, but I went to Micro Center and I bought a new power supply that is going to support the graphics card I bought. And right now I just installed it. I'm testing Windows 10 out with it and everything. It's just a standard EVGA 500 watt power supply. The old one I had from Dell was only 275 watts, and they didn't have the peripherals for PCI power for the graphics card. And right now I'm gonna have to do some crazy cable management because this covers up the data SATA ports on the motherboard. The only workaround from this would be getting a SATA RAID card, kind of similar to how I have my hard drives mounted inside my Optiplex server. But I wouldn't use the RAID setting, obviously. I would just use them as individual disk drives because I got 3 hard drives in here and a SATA DVD drive that I use for playing older games. So yeah, let's see if I got the driver support for this thing and see how it plays in a few minutes. Some good news, all of the data SATA ports on the motherboard fit with the graphics card over it. There's just enough clearance for it. However, this is the front USB slot and it's just too bulky for it to be sitting on top. But I think if I cable manage this through the fins of the fan and the circuit board, like the motherboard it sits on, I think it'll be just enough just for it to go through. So let's try that. So I took the cooler, the heatsink, and the fans off of the graphics card and left it in with the little CPU it has, just to see how I'd be able to wire manage the front USB connector on the motherboard. And it could work if I go through the fins of the fan, but I don't got much clearance because there's just such a bulge with this. I might have to eliminate front USB with this, which to be honest is fine because it's not even USB 3.0, it's just port 2.0, and then I just have, you know, microphone and speaker support, which I can just get through the back. And then if I really need to, I can just get a USB hub with a USB audio going up to the front of my desk. So it's not the end of the world at the same time, but I really do want to try to get this to work. So let's see if I can finagle something. So I just tried to test fit it with the heatsink and fan, and there's no way this is going to work. So I'm going to have to eliminate front USB and eventually just get like a USB hub going up from the back. But right now it's fine, just to get the graphics and everything in there. I mean, I have all the SATA connectors I needed, so eliminating front USB isn't the worst thing in the world. I might be okay with the speakers because I'm noticing it's a whole different connection here for the speakers and one of the USBs. So hell, I might be in luck here. So we'll see how this is gonna work out. Actually, I might have one USB that works. So let's try this out. I'm gonna try to cable manage and put back together the graphics card now, and then I'm gonna put in the new power supply, cable manage the best I can, and get this puppy on, and then we'll deal with drivers and everything. Also, a quick announcement from Stefan from The Verge when it comes to installing your PSUs. And I have a video coming out soon on me reacting to the video. I know I'm late by a year, but oh my god, as someone who works in IT, I just found this video out now. You put in your power supply, you can't put the fan to the back or facing up. You're suffocating airflow. It needs to have ventilation to go up and out. So there you go. That's how you put in a power supply, buddy. Okay, nothing is cable managed, I know, but we're gonna do the smoke test now with everything connected and see how it goes. So let's give us a count on 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Oh, it's not good so far. But alright, let's get it on and see if we get a picture and do drivers. Just need to. This happens all the time with this computer. Normal. Let's just get it to the drivers. See? We gotta give it a second here. Oh god. Shh. It's not turning on. For some reason, it's not staying on, I should say. There we go. Come on, let's get it. There it is. Now it's turning on. It's got to find the hard drive with Windows 10. But there's the graphics. So beautiful with that LED. It's just got to find the Windows 10 hard drive and then it'll boot to it. Oh shit, it went to the CD drive. Okay, we know the CD drive works. Let's get that out of here. It's trying to boot into Linux basically right now. Let's get this out of here. Let's try that again. Okay, it found the Windows 10 drive out of all 3 things I have installed. So next is gonna boot into Windows, and this came with a graphics driver CD, and we're gonna install the drivers off the disk. I'm just curious what this came up with in the device manager, and it's just using a Microsoft Basic Display adapter. So now I'm gonna put the disk in and install our little drivers that came with this for Windows 10. Whatever software that AMD and MSI include on this disk never auto ran, so I just searched manually for the drivers on the disk and I'm just installing them this way. I don't like doing this. I like software that came with the company, but it's not working, so I'll do it the Justin way. Okay, the graphics card installed pretty good, so I want to run a firmware test. Holy shit, that is beautiful. The firmware is basically a fuzzy donut that stresses out the graphics card. Wow, that usually doesn't work that well. So it's using 100% of the graphics, but let's see. That is beautiful, actually. Wow. It's benchmarking everything now. This will be the benchmark test. Let's just see. I'm not good with benchmarking graphics, but this is phenomenal right now. And I'm just using my Samsung SingMaster 9910T. Now you hear that? It's getting a little hot. This really stresses it out. The fans are spinning a little faster. I wanted to apply new thermal paste when I had this thing apart, and I didn't do it because it looked fine and it wasn't like a solid blob. It was still liquidy. So whoever had this before me took care of this. So let's see. Here's the benchmark for it. Max GPU temperature was at 76. Now there is a game with my old graphics card that was complete shitty, and I really want to play it at really good graphics, which was ironically Halo SPV3. Let's load this up and see how it looks. Okay. Graphics are adjusting. Whoa, that looks a lot better than before. Pretty good. Okay, yeah, we get the opening. Can't get out of it this time? Interesting. There we go. This is my one level. The Silent Cartographer Evolved is my favorite level. And I just want to see how the cutscene does. That's all I want to see. Because I usually get artifacts, I get glitches, I get like 15, 13 frames per second. Let's just see how this looks. Open source has crashed. Oh great. Let's look into this. Alright, so I'm having an issue with open source, but I don't care. I just tried the Master Chief Collection, Halo 2 Anniversary, and oh my god, I used to get so much stuttering and jitter in Anniversary graphics. I am getting smooth gameplay on enhanced graphics. This graphics card is amazing. This power supply is doing exactly what I wanted to. The only thing I would change over time is I'm going to put in SSDs, because this mechanical drive bullshit is annoying. I only did it this way now because it's cheap, and all I do is really play Halo. So this is really for downtime on my gaming PC. So other things, that front USB issue I was having, the first two on the right side work with how it's connected now to the motherboard. The other two on the left is what that front ribbon cable is for. That's being protruded by the graphics card, and I'm assuming it's also additional. I'm also assuming it's additional power also for the other two on the right, and I still get the sound out the front I/O, which is perfect because all I do is plug my phone into this sometimes, and I use it for my keyboard and mouse and everything. So now I just gotta cable tie everything, manage that, and I am done. Guys, I am not recording that part, but this build is done for now. I got a hell of a mess to clean up, and that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching this upgrade on my gaming PC. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.